This thing is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous having an optic this size on this gun. I'll tell you what. All right, guys, I'm out here getting ready to answer one of the strangest questions I've been asked all year, which is, can you mount something like an RMR or potentially an SRO to your Hellcat Pro? Oddly enough, the answer to that is going to be yes. But before we get into that, let's just go ahead, take a second, and thank some of the biggest supporters of the channel. First on my list is going to be Core Essentials. Now, we all need a good EDC belt. At one point, I must have had 6 or maybe 7 different brands of belts. I've gotten rid of all of them. I am now strictly using the Core belts. Go check them out. Use 360TS at checkout. Thank me later. Second on my list is going to be Apex. You guys know they've been ultra supportive of everything that I do here on the channel. Go check them out. Use 360TS at checkout. Save yourself a buck or two. Last but certainly not least is going to be C&H Precision. Now, the only reason that this video is even possible is because of the adapter plate that we're using from C&H Precision. You can go check that out at their site. You can use 360TS as your promo code if you want to build something super ridiculous like this here. Now, what we're using for an optic instead of an SRO or an RMR is the C&H Precision competition optic. This thing is the same size roughly as an SRO. I believe the window is just a little bit bigger, but it comes in at a fraction of the cost of the SRO. Let's go ahead and cut to some footage of how this adapter plate actually works so you can see how that works, and then we'll get back into it. Okay, so here's the adapter plate. It is a pretty simple idea, actually. You've got a couple of screws here that coincide with the screws on your Hellcat Pro. So first off, you have these little metal screw retainers that are going to go in the bottom just like that. It's going to give you the ability to go ahead and screw this plate down into your existing optic slot. Then you can take any optic, like I have this old beat up RMR here, and this is now going to actually be able to mount to your Hellcat Pro. Now, it's not just going to be the RMR. Of course, anything that fits that pattern. You could use a Holosun 507C. Here, I have this guy. This is the C&H Competition optic. It's a pretty nice optic. It's a slightly larger than what a Trijicon SRO would be. I actually like it better than the SRO, and yeah, it's like half the price, whatever. This is going to be the optic that we're going to mount to the Hellcat Pro just because it is absolutely friggin' ridiculous. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and then we'll get back to business. So this adapter plate is going to allow you to mount anything that has that same RMR footprint to your Hellcat Pro. That's going to be, you know, the RMR, the SRO. You can mount a Holosun 507C. You can mount a Holosun 507 Comp. You have a lot more options for optics when you use this adapter plate, but there are some downsides to it. Yes, the plate is super thick. So before anybody asks whether or not you can co-witness, no, you're not going to be able to co-witness. That's just not going to be a thing, you know, when you're using such a thick plate to mount the optic. Oh, not today, not today. Another weird thing about using a plate that's this thick is I mounted the optic to it, and I came out here, I just did a rough zero on the thing, but you have to move the dot down so far because of that excess thickness. It's really kind of weird. I imagine longer shots, you're gonna probably start seeing some issues with point of aim, point of impact. Really, this whole thing is just for fun anyways. I'm just going to use this for a while and probably go back to my standard Holosun 407K. But for right now, it's kind of cool seeing this thing just completely over the top like this. Inside of the packaging for this adapter plate, they have a whole host of different screws that you can use to mount whatever optic it is that you're going to use onto the plate and the gun itself. So you're covered there. Now, obviously, direct mount is always the best way to go. I know I'm going to get a ton of comments about that. We all know that. But from time to time, there are situations where you do actually have to use an adapter plate. And when I have to use an adapter plate, I'm going to use a C&H plate. I don't use any of those Amazon plates. I've had horrible luck with those. And I know some people have complained they've had bad luck with the C&H plates. Whatever, you do you. I've had great luck with C&H, so that's what I use. So you guys know I love the Hellcat Pro. I've got a couple of these things. I got a bunch of these slides laying around. And I guess the question of the day is, would I run this adapter plate with, you know, an RMR or potentially something like an SRO on this gun as an EDC? And to be honest, probably not. This configuration right here, this is just for fun. I put the threaded barrel and comp on here, and I put the biggest optic that I had laying around in the office on this gun, just for fun, just to come out here to the range and enjoy myself. Obviously, it's going to be a little bulkier than I really want for my EDC needs. But for those of you who do want something with a bigger window, there are options. Probably not great options, but there are options. The plate itself, it's worked well. I've been out here today. I've ran a couple hundred rounds through this thing, and it's worked well. I haven't had any problems with it. For me, though, I really do like the Holosun 407K. It's one of my favorite optics for an EDC type gun. And so that's what I'm probably going to keep on here, is my slide that has the 407K on it. For those of you who do want something a little bit larger than, say, the K series of optics, go over to C&H, check them out. I highly recommend them. That's it. That's all I got today, you guys. Get out there, get some range time, stay safe, and you know what? Above all else, enjoy yourself.